Hi, everybody. I am going to try to talk a little bit instead of doing the commentary on the Telegram. I'm absolutely exhausted. I worked a pretty long shift at work tonight. So I'm going to go over a couple of things really quick and try to explain them to the best of my ability. I did read today where someone had posted about dragon lines. I can't know if that looks better or not. Ugh, I can't even see myself. And it made me think about the vision I had with what's going to happen in the future. So I'm going to start there first. All right. The water on this planet has to go back to the way it used to be. So if you had a lake that was, let's just say, in Mississippi, and it flew from Mississippi into Louisiana or into Alabama, wherever it went, and someone put a dam up because they didn't want it to go there, so they could control that water and had it veer off somewhere else, and then they sold that land and people bought it and put homes and playgrounds and schools and stuff like that, even maybe a town. That water has to go back there. So those people will have to move. They were messing with the ley lines a lot. This is why some businesses will buy an area and then they'll put like a factory or something on there and you can't get near anything. They did a lot of that, and that was different land. How can I put it without sounding really weird? Certain places on this planet, there's stronger energy. And wherever that strong energy is, they have bought that land and then cut it off to the normal people. When I say normal people, I'm talking about us. When the Native American people would lose their land, they would take their sacred land first. They wanted all that sacred land because they knew that the natives would go there and they would do their prayers, or they would bury their dead. It was very sacred to them. That's why they didn't really live there. That's why they would go there to pray and meditate and relax, or whatever it is that they did. We've all seen a movie where Native Americans are sitting there and they're looking, they're saying, oh, this is our sacred land, but they took it away from us. They're getting all their land back. They're going to get all their land back. And I've talked about that before. Because it's their land. It was their land. It was stolen from them. Let's just say it what it is. Other places, now I've seen, I can't remember which poltergeist type of TV show it was, but there was a young girl who was having all kinds of experiences, and they ended up tracking it down to the land that the house was built on. It was on a weird grid, and there wasn't much they could do about it. They did the best they could, but they said, but it was a very strong grid. So it was kind of like a portal, and the dead were coming in through that portal, which was in that house. And there's a lot of people that don't realize that their homes are built places where their homes should have never been built in the first place. So a lot of that stuff will have to be fixed. A lot of people were going to have to move. You're going to see a lot of migration. So whenever you see someone talking about the grid lines or the ley lines or dragon lines, pay attention to what they're talking about. All of this will make more sense, not right now, but later on. A lot of this stuff is going to make more sense. And you'll understand why some people will have to leave their land. Of course, they're going to get lots of money for it and to have to move. And then others are going to want to leave and to go to other places. So everything's going to change. I've had visions where men were throwing down sod and planting trees over where a road is. Because you have a lot of roads that go to the same place. Why we have so many roads, I don't know. It's like, why do we have so many damn red lights? A lot of those are going to go away too. So that's going to change. And so you're not going to need 50 trillion roads all going to the same place. It's ridiculous. It really is. And we need to give some of this territories back to nature. The foxes, the owls, the wolves, the bears, they need their land back. Let's quit taking from them. I mean, my God, there's plenty of places that we can build things. There's lots of abandoned buildings that are just sitting there. Just sitting there. I mean, a lot of those are going to be tore down. Parks could be put there. Someone could buy it and put a house there. Things like that. I also had a vision where, you know, like right now, you're driving down a road, and I don't know, some people call it downtown or uptown. I don't know. We always called it downtown. You used to be able to go downtown, and on that street, all of the shops that you needed. What in the world is that thing? Oh heavens, hold on just a second. This place, I'm telling you, this place is just god awful. What is that? Okay, I have no idea. I have no idea what it was, but whatever. Okay, so we used to go downtown. And when you would go downtown, it was like a street, and there were some little off streets, but mainly like you had Sears and JCPenney's was there. You had the several pharmacies, you had your banks, you had your shoe stores. You didn't go to a mall, you went downtown. And that's where you went shopping. You parked your car and you walked. It was an all-day thing. We used to do it when I was little. The bus stop wasn't far away from that. Of course, the beach wasn't far from there either. The post office was downtown. That's where you went. Then when the mall came about, people quit shopping downtown. They wanted to go to the mall because all the big stores were there, you know. And it ended up not bankrupting downtown, but Sears pulled out, Penny's pulled out. I mean, they had record stores, they had bookstores, all those things. They couldn't stay because people started going to the mall. Well, now people don't go to malls anymore. You know, so now what you have is you've got a Walmart here, then you got a Target over here, then you got this shop here and this shop here, and they're not even downtown. They're just off highways. It's like everybody's pulled out of downtown. They've pulled out of the malls, and now they're just randomly building all these stores all over the friggin' highways and stuff. So when I was looking at that the other day, I was thinking, these all look like square boxes. There's no beauty to any of these designs anymore. They've taken away anything that adds beauty and color and something, you know, like, wow, this feels really great. Because like when you go to a really old city and they still have a downtown or an uptown, however you call it, you know, the buildings are really old and it feels good. Okay, let's use New Orleans for an example. When you walk down New Orleans, you have a lot of the old buildings from when the French were here, and it has a different feel to it, right? And it's fun, and you know, people don't mind walking. I don't go at night, and I haven't been in a very long time, but it was fun for me. I liked going during the day more so at night. I like going into the different shops and looking at the different things. I like that, I really do. But I think that downtown is going to come back. So in all your little cities and stuff, all of these stores that are up and down your highways, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone. That's why I'm saying you don't need all these roads. You don't need 5 million different roads. And every time you turn around, they're always, oh, we need a shortcut to get to this interstate. So we're going to take, 50 miles through this forest here. So there's a cut to make it easier for someone to get there. Why? I don't know. There's no reason for all this. It's like you're going down this road, and then you can go this way and get to this road, or you can go straight and get to the same road, or you can turn over here and get to the same road. There's so many ways. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Things like that just do not make sense to me. So I think a lot of that stuff is they're just going to cover it up. You're not going to need all these different highways. So all these Walmarts and Targets that are building up on these major highways, like I'm talking about, not interstates, I'm talking about like highways, they're going to be gone. Plus, no one's going to want to shop at them anyway. As I told you, farmers markets are where the majority of the people are going to go get their fruits and vegetables. Now, whether or not that's downtown or it's in a park or somewhere like that, that's where people are going to go. People are not going to go to the grocery store and buy all that crap. And I've already told you that they're going to start getting rid of a lot of that food. I told you that, 3-4 years ago. look what's happening. They're already saying that some of this food is really bad, and they're starting to pull them off the shelves. I told you this would happen. It's gonna start becoming more and more obvious as we go forward, and some people are gonna have withdrawals. So that's why I always tell you guys, if there is something that you eat or you drink, and I'm just gonna use Coca-Cola, and you're addicted to it, which people do get addicted to Coca-Cola, to buy your Coca-Cola now, buy as much as you can, wean yourself off of it. That means if you drink 4 glasses a day, you need to go down to 3. Then when you get to where you can do 3 and you can function, then you go down to 2. When you get to where you can function, you go down to 1 until you get to half a cup, till you get to maybe that much of it. And then you're done. That's what I had to do. I had cotton mouth. I got migraines. I was like, this is ridiculous. But when I quit drinking all those caffeine drinks, I lost a lot of weight. And I never was a big soft drink drinker. I just got into the habit, and then once you get into the habit, that's all she wrote. So let me think, what else was I wanting to say? Because it's so hard when I'm trying to, put it in the room. I just figured I'd make a video. Okay, I want to go to portals really quick. All right, so a lot of people don't understand what these portals are. Portals are like a, let's say a mirror. Okay, so you're looking at the mirror and you can see your reflection. You see what's behind you. But like in movies, like people put their hand through the mirror. That's like going into another reality. So think of that like when you're thinking of a portal. So when you go through a portal, you're going into another reality, another realm. This can be to another planet. It could be to another anything. Or it could be somewhere here in this realm. Let's say you go through a portal, and then when you're on the other side, you're on the beach in Hawaii. So some of these portals have always been here, and that's just the way it is, guys. There are portals here. There really are. Some people I can feel them. I can't see them, but I can feel them, and usually they feel really weird. And some of them open up and shut on their own. That's the only thing I can tell you. We had one when I was at work one time in Gulfport, and my friend came and got me. She says, "Jackie, you're not going to believe this." She said, "Go out to the garden center." She said, just walk. So I started walking, and I stopped. I said, "What is that?" She says, "I think it's a portal." I said, "That's really weird." Now, we walked through it. We didn't end up anywhere, but it was a really weird feeling. So do know there's a lot of things going on. I don't actually think it was a portal, but I do think it was something. It was really weird. But when you feel these things, you just know. My grandson can actually see portals. He's like, yeah, they open up, and he says, I see people sticking their heads out. So there are people that can see portals. Some of these portals, like I said, are here. They've been here. They've always been here. Some of them were opened, and then we've had some people that opened them, some portals that didn't need to be opened, like Aleister Crowley. He had a bad habit of opening a portal to let evil things through, bad things. And then he didn't close them. He left them open. And a perfect example of that is he had a house, and that's the same house that Jimmy Page bought. Jimmy Page was the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin. And he didn't close the portal. So all these evil things were just coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And it drove Jimmy Page crazy. So he sold the house. Then someone else bought it, and then it just stayed abandoned. I think they've actually tore that house down. But I don't know if that portal's ever been closed. So you have a door that's open to a different realm that's got things coming in and out of it. And I think that it needs to be closed. So you have a lot of those things going on. Now, you have a lot of people that are sharing truths with you, that are telling you things, but they don't tell you everything. And the reason I'm talking about some of this stuff is because everybody thinks they know everything. And I know a lot. And every day I learn something new, but I don't know everything. My goal is to wake up people where they hear these things, we learn about these things, and we talk about these things. So whenever we do shut down, whenever they do the reset, and whenever the truth comes out, this is stored in your mind, okay? It doesn't mean you have to believe everything I say. It doesn't mean that you go, oh my gosh, this is great. You know, you just hear it, just listen to it, and then you store it. So when the truth comes out, you'll be like, oh wow, I didn't think that was going to be real. That's the reaction I'm looking for, instead of this having a heart attack kind of thing. I don't want people to die because they're like, no one ever told me. Because there are a lot of people out there who are claiming that they're waking you up and they're telling you the truth, but they're not telling you everything. And then you get these people that think they know everything. And then when you try to tell them something, they're quoting Bible verses at you, or they're throwing holy water at you. And it's like, wait a second, buddy. I can't help it that you're closed-minded. Nobody is going to be benefited from being closed-minded. I don't care if you don't want to believe it or not, but you should listen to it. Because if it does come out to be true, you don't want to be shocked. You absolutely want to have a little bit of knowledge and go, wow, I never expected that one to be real. That's the reaction I'm looking for. So that's why I've been trying to do little bitty videos here and there as much as I can. There are a lot of things on this realm, and I'm saying realm for a purpose. There is on Tubi, there is a TV show that's airing on there. It's called Monsters. Watch it. Watch it. Watch a season, an episode every night. You're going to learn about Bigfoot. You're going to learn about werewolves. You're going to learn about the Mothman. You're going to learn about the Wendigo. You're going to learn about all these different things. And you're going to say, oh, that's all make-believe. And I'm going to tell you that if there's portals, you can't say it's make-believe. There are things that are here that should not be here, and they need to go home. Now, I did a video 5-6 years ago where I'm talking about people running through the woods with bow and arrows. I did not know what they were hunting, and I talked about maybe black-eyed children. I don't think it's just black-eyed children that people are going to be hunting. Okay? As far as Bigfoot goes, Bigfoot is not a threat. So don't go thinking that we're going to be hunting Bigfoot. Bigfoot has been here for a very long time. Bigfoot worked with Native Americans a very long time ago. Bigfoot doesn't want to hurt anybody. And you're not going to be able to catch a Bigfoot anyway because Bigfoot jumps through portals. Werewolves. People want to argue with me. No such thing. Well, have you looked at old pictures of St. Christopher? Go look. He was a dog man. Okay? That means he had a human body and a dog head. There are aliens out there. I call them our cousins. Their breed are dogs. I forget what they're called. Just like you have the Lyrans and just like you have the Urmas. They're cats. You don't believe me? I don't care. But I'm telling you. Go look it up. Go look it up. I don't know if military or somebody grabbed one of these dog men and then experimented on them and made them werewolves. I don't know, but I do know there's like 3 or 4 different types, and some of them are very violent, and then you have some that aren't as violent, but more or less they just want to be left alone. So I wouldn't go looking for them either. If they wanted to hurt you, they would have already hurt you. Okay, so Bigfoot and werewolves, if they wanted to hurt you, they would already have done it. So you don't have to be afraid of them. But there are some things out there that you do need to be afraid of. And those things will hurt you. Honestly. But I wanted to talk about it because after we reset, probably within the first year, when we get more into the spiritual part, when we start learning more about the portals, learning more about our cousins, learning more about who's been here longer than we have, more things are going to come out. And some people are not going to be able to handle the truth. Some people are not going to be able to handle the truth about the Bible. Some people are not going to be able to handle the truth about transgenders and these sex changes like Victoria's Secret. Those are all men. Some people aren't going to be able to handle knowing that our own government tried to kill us. Some people aren't going to be able to handle a whole lot of things. Now, whether or not all that's true or not, it doesn't matter. But what I'm getting at is when all of the truth comes out and people start talking more about it, there's going to be a subject that is going to be really hard for somebody. And every subject is going to be different. The thing that might really knock me on my butt might be something that you're okay with. There's just no telling. So in order to be prepared and be ready for this reset, don't say, I've been down every rabbit hole, because you're freaking lying. You haven't. I haven't. There's some people that know about the human trafficking, but they don't know about the hunting parties. They're like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear it. Well, you're going to have to learn about it. You're going to have to understand it, because many people were hunted. They were set out in the woods, butt naked, barefoot, and people hunted them. Whether you want to know about it or not, you're going to have to learn, because some people survived this and they talk about it. And there are going to be more and more people talking about this stuff and writing books and coming forward. You have to understand this. If we don't listen and we don't learn from these mistakes, then history has a funny way of repeating itself. This means that this could happen again. Our goal right now, those of us that are alive, those of us that are woken up, that are still waking up, that are still learning, that are still trying to educate people, our job is to make sure that people know why these things weren't good, why they didn't work, so we can teach people the proper way of doing stuff. That's our job. Okay? When we go down to the 10% of the government, Donald Trump is getting rid of 90% of the government. There are many people that don't even know civics. They don't know which branch of government does what, who's in charge of what. They have no idea. I highly recommend taking some civics classes. I also highly recommend taking constitutional classes. The reason I say this is because if you don't want people to get back in a position and tax the heck out of you, write laws that are unconstitutional, take away your rights, you're going to let it happen again if you don't understand how it's supposed to work. That's what happened. Our great-grandparents didn't fight the system. They allowed it to happen. They thought, oh, well, this will be good for us. We won't have to worry about this. This is what happens when you get lazy. Now, you fast forward to now in the 2000s, and we hardly have any rights. And they're steadily taken away. It's like the guy can go racing down the highway, right? Police won't chase him because now they're told they can't chase him. You drive with an expired sticker on the back of your car and you watch how quick he'll pull you over, but yet the guy doing 120 miles an hour, he can still do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? None of it makes any sense. You've got the right to drive without a tag. You've got the right to drive with an expired sticker because God gave you the right to travel, not man. But man takes that right that God gave you and tells you it's a privilege and you have to pay for that privilege. No, you don't. If that was the way it was, then God wouldn't have given you that right. You can argue till your face is blue to the police officers because they don't know the Constitution. They don't study it. And all they're going to tell you is it's the law. And then when you tell them, no, that's maritime law, they don't understand that either. They don't understand. People don't understand. So that's why I'm saying, if you don't learn civics and you don't learn the Constitution, 20, 30, 50 years from now, people will get lazy and someone's going to take advantage, and then everything that we went through would be for nothing. If that's not what you want, then get off your butt, learn civics, learn the Constitution, teach your kids, teach your grandkids, teach your great-grandkids. Make sure that they understand this. With robots and AI, don't get lazy. if this is something that you use a little bit, I don't have a problem with it, because in the future, robots are going to be doing a lot more of the work than we are. So for people that are doing heavy lifting and driving equipment that's dangerous, robots are going to do that. People aren't going to have to do that type of work anymore. People will still work. You'll just be different type of work. Maybe you'll be a foreman. Maybe you'll watch these robots, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, instead of actually doing that work yourself. AI. A lot of people are going to use AI for certain things, but you still need to get your pencil and your piece of paper and write down your math stuff and add it. Because if you quit remembering how to do this stuff, you're never going to remember. And that's not good. Do you know, like, when you're at the store and the computer system goes down, they freak out. They don't know how to count back cash. You give them a $20 bill and it's like $14.23. You give them a $20 bill and they freak out because the register won't tell them what to give you back. And you're looking at them like, are you freaking kidding me? You don't know how to count back change? No, I need to get the supervisor over here. I don't know what to do. Witnessed it. Kids do not know how to count back change unless somebody tells them. We can't have that in the future. You need to know how to count back change. You need to know how to write something out. If you are totally dependent on computers and AI to do all it for you, it's easy for someone to take over again. Because you know why? You don't know. You wouldn't know. You would know if someone took over because you don't know. Learn so no one can do this again. If you know the Constitution, both ways, you know it all the way through. Nobody's going to tell you, you can't do that. You're going to say, excuse me? Oh, you can't do that. You have to have a license for that. No, I don't. And as long as you can stand firm on your feet, no one will ever do that to you again. I'm not mad at my parents. I'm not mad at your parents. I'm not mad at my grandparents or your grandparents. But this is what happened. They allowed it to happen. That people got voted in office and then started taking away their rights. And then they said, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Oh well, we lost that right. Can't go fishing anymore in my backyard unless I have a license, because I don't want the dude to come get me. See what I'm saying? It's stupid. That's what people used to do. They used to go fishing. That's how they used to eat. People used to go hunting. They didn't have a license. They went hunting. But they were respectful hunters. They just didn't kill animals to be killing them. That's wrong. But that's a whole nother subject I'll go into another day. But what I'm getting at, you don't have to pay for these rights that God gave you. You don't. But we've allowed them to do it to us. So if you don't want this to happen to your great-great-great-grandkids, then you need to learn the Constitution. You need to learn civics so you can sit down and teach them. Because I am not coming back again and going through this shit. I'm not doing it. I think I'm on my last reincarnation. This is it for me. I might be here for a very long time, but I'm not coming back. I'm not fixing this again. This has been holy heck on me. And I'm sure it's been holy heck on a lot of other people. I don't want to do it. So the best thing I can do is to educate. So whenever we reset and I get my business up, which I will be teaching people civics, and I will be teaching the Constitution to the best of my ability. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach people who don't know how to add. I'm going to teach them how to add with a piece of paper and a pencil. Somebody doesn't know how to write in cursive, I'm going to teach them how to write in cursive. I'm going to do as much as I can to help as many people. I know somebody says, well, that's just stupid. Well, you know what? There are a lot of people out there who don't know how to read. And if I have to teach people how to read, I'll teach people how to read. If we don't do this and we let people stay ignorant, then it's easy for someone to manipulate them and take advantage of them and eventually take our rights away again. I'm not dealing with this again. So it's very important for everybody to take these classes. Donald Trump has already stated there will be free college courses. You're not going to have anything. You're going to be able to take whatever courses you want. So if he offers constitutional, civics, common law, take them. Take them. You don't have to be a practicing attorney. You don't have to be a constitutionalist. It's just for your knowledge. That's why I took law. It was just to learn it, to understand it, so people couldn't walk all over me. So these are just some things that I wanted to talk about. I want you to understand there's a lot of changes coming, a lot of changes, and nobody really wants to be honest and talk about it because they're so afraid that if they talk about it, you'll think they're crazy. I don't care. Think I'm crazy. I don't care. These are things that I've talked about for a really, really long time. These are things that I've always believed in. I've always had gifts. I always will have gifts. I'm probably going to end up with more gifts. But nobody wants to talk about this stuff. Everybody says, well, you know, I hear voices, but I'm not a psychic. Okay, well, what are you? I don't know. I really don't know. People don't want to be labeled something, so they're trying to dance around things. You know what? Whatever. But we all have telepathy. Most people turned it off. We all should be able to read other people's auras. That's the energy. We should be all able to do that. That's called instinct. So when someone walks up to you and you get sick or your bumps on your arms appear, that's called your instinct. We all got it, but people turned it off. That's a gift. Animals didn't turn theirs off. That's how they survive. Us, oh, I have a sick feeling in my stomach about that guy, but I was told I have to be nice to people. Hi, how you doing? Not me. I feel gross about somebody. I get the heck out of Dodge. It's like when I had my flat tire the other day. I thought I could flag somebody down. Do I want to? Heck no. I called the police. I asked them if they would send someone to help me change my tire, and they did. Because, you know I don't look like I'm almost 60. That's because I keep looking younger. You can't see the blonde in my hair. My hair is so gross looking right now, but there is like so much blonde in my hair, and it's even blonder in certain spots. When I tell people my hair is changing colors, I'm not lying. My hair is freaking blonde. My hair used to be almost black. Almost black. That's not even the true color of my hair. My hair is changing colors, and it's not for me bleaching it. I'm not dyeing it. It's just changing. So I know I'm changing. My eyes colors are still the same, but my hair color is changing. But what I'm getting at is we all have these gifts. People told you, oh, you're crazy. It's your imagination. Or they're afraid for someone to call them a name. So they have to come up with all these different things. Oh, I'm not a psychic, but I talk to aliens. Okay. But anyway, this is going to be normal. This is going to be your new normal. So if this is something that you just think is absolutely crazy, you're not waking up. You can't say that you've learned everything and then stop and then say, I'm not learning anything else. This is all I need. Because the way that this world is going to go, you're going to be completely confused and it's going to scare you. And you're not going to be ready for it. So trust me when I tell you, if there was something that you thought you didn't want to know or you didn't need to know, that's most probably the most important thing that you need to get on. So don't sit there and say it goes against the Bible. Do know that when the Bible was written, it was written by men a very long time ago. And some of the stories that are in the Bible were all the way back to clay tablets. And they took those stories from clay tablets that went all the way from the Sumerians that were right there around the Anunnaki. And they took those stories and they put it in the Bible. So the Bible is a collection of different stories from different periods in time. Not what you think, okay? From different periods in time. Names have been changed over time. They were called this name, and then during a new destiny or dynasty, I should say, they changed their names, and then they were called something else. Or if you pay attention to all these different time periods, like the Greeks, the Romans, you go look at India, and you have people, they are all doing the same thing, but they had different names. Okay, let's say like Zeus and what's his name, Jupiter. It's the same person. It's the same person. But now if you go look in the, what you call it, the with the Vikings, that was somebody else. It was the same person. It was just different names. But who were those people? They were our cousins. Which cousin was it? Well, it could have been Enlil. It could have been Enki. It could have been a lot of different things. So don't sit there and think that you don't need to know these things or they don't matter, because you're going to be lost. You're really going to be lost when all of this stuff comes out. Like with the pyramids getting ready to be turned back on, I do believe they're going to be turned back on. I think it's going to surprise a whole lot of people. Those are power stations. I think there's a lot of things out there right now that are dormant and they're about to be turned on. And when they turn on, the frequency on this planet is going to change. And it's going to affect you. That's why your body's going from the carbon base to a crystalline. Because when that energy gets turned on, you're going to have to be able to handle that flow of energy. It's going to be something that you don't even know. Because when they turned it off, it kind of dumbed us down. It kind of put us in a sleep mode, and it made it easier for them to control us. When that gets turned back on, they're not going to be able to control us. They just won't. But if people don't learn from these mistakes that we've just went through, then of course they'll do what they did. They'll come back, because history and life just has a way of keep repeating itself. And hopefully we've learned a lesson this time. Hopefully, because like I said, I don't want to come back. But anyway, I hope this video helps. I know it's a lot of different subjects because I didn't really write anything down. I'm tired. I hate working like I am. I can't wait to get my own business up and running. As soon as I do, I will let everybody know. So if you have any questions, you can message me on my Telegram page. You can email me, or you can try to find me on Facebook. I will answer. Sometimes when you leave me a message on YouTube, it takes me a little bit longer to get back to you, because unless I see it, I miss it, and I apologize. But I always do answer the best to my ability. All right, guys, y'all have a great night. And if there is a subject that you want me to talk about and just focus on that particular subject, let me know. But please be open to things that you don't think you need to hear, because those are the things that you need to hear, and you need to get ready. Because I honestly believe that May is a month that's going to be pretty damn big. And when it happens, a lot of people aren't ready for it. They think they are. Let me touch on this really quick, because I got to say this. There are people that have bought foreign currency, and they did it because they wanted to do projects. They claim it's because they want to help people. But when you sit here and you hear people complaining that they're not going to get as much back as they thought, that bothers me. Because that's not five. That's more ego-based. And I can't stand ego-based. Because that's the one thing that we're supposed to be leaving, is our ego base. Ego is when you just think about yourself and everything revolves around you. When we get into five, we're more into worrying about everyone else, because if we know that everybody's okay, we're going to be okay. So you want to help people. So if you've bought, let's say, $1 trillion Zims, and you find out that only 2 of them you're going to get a certain amount, the rest of them the price goes down, why are you going to get mad? Why are you going to get mad? You know, God is going to make sure that if you've got a project that's actually worth something, that's actually really going to help somebody, God's going to make it happen. God's going to make sure that you're able to take care and do what you need to do. And if you're complaining that you don't think you have enough money, then you don't have faith in God. That's just the way I see it. You just don't have faith in God. You're not where you need to be. And that's just my honest opinion. And if that made somebody mad, so be it. So be it. Okay? Because that's just the way I see it. You've got to put your faith in God. Because if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. And do know, for those people that are getting this money and their heart isn't really where it should be, they're going to know when you walk through that door. Because these people are going to be able to read your energy. They're going to know what frequency you're at, and they're going to know where you're vibrating. And if you don't think so, then, like I said, you haven't done your homework. You have not studied, you haven't listened, and you haven't paid attention. Everything is going to be based on your frequency. They're not going to use your thumbprint in the future, guys. This is gone. Your frequency. Your frequency is your fingerprint, because no one is at the same, no one vibrates at the same frequency. It's all different. But this is your fingerprint, okay? So when you go through, they're going to know you. They're going to know your intention. They're going to know if you're a good person, if you're lying, or what. And then you got some people that can't keep their mouth shut. And they're going to lose their money too. And that's just going to happen. And I hate to say it, but there's going to be a lot of that going on. But if that's what it takes for people to learn a lesson, then so be it. But I'm just telling you, there's a lot of people that aren't where they are, and they get mad when you say, well, you're not at 5. And they're like, well, you're not at 5 because you're saying I'm not at 5. Why are you arguing? If I tell somebody, I don't think you're at 5, leave it there, because that's 5. But I ain't saying, that's 5. That's 5. That's 6. 6 is you just love them. You're not there. Okay, I'm not saying I'm at 5. I'm just telling you. You should be thankful. You're like, wow, she just pointed something out to me. And then that lets you know that there's something you need to work on. But some people just don't get it. They get angry. And if you call someone an ugly name, and you say you are a church-going person, but yet you call somebody ugly names, you're a liar. Because Jesus wouldn't say that. Jesus didn't call women ugly names. So think about that too. Calling people out, letting you know, need to hear it, understand it. All right, guys. If you want to share this video, share it. I don't care. Because I'm sure it's going to make somebody mad. Because that's what I do. I make people mad, but I also make you think. So have a good night. Okay? And hopefully we're going to have a couple of good weeks here really soon. So hang in there, because I feel something's about to break. All right. Talk to you later.